Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no slap. Got a thirst for killing. Make your mind, yeah.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. Andy here with Jim and Jacob. A lot to unpack from the college football weekend that took place, the weekend that we'll go ahead and start with. And I want to lead things off. I want to be the first one to say something here today, and then I'm going to hand it over to you too. But I want to give a shout out to Jim. His Buckeyes did a fantastic job just dominating Texas, shutting down that offense, obviously winning that game 14-7 there at the Horseshoe. But as soon as that game finished, I watched the press conference. I watched everything after with Ryan Day, and the first thing that went through my head that I wondered as I'm watching Ryan Day talk about the victory is Jim going to pierce his nipples now?
Oh, Lord. Yeah. I saw that. I don't know if that's real or fake or what.
That's got to be real, bro. It's got to be.
You know what? Hey, do what you want to do. Just win football. I don't care. Just win games. I don't care what you want to do. You could put piercings through your nose and on your ear for all I care.
Jacob, if you could let the listeners know what I'm referring to.
There was a picture that surfaced online.
I saw it.
Of Ryan Day giving his coach's interview on the field, and nothing squeaks past X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it.
It's a different age.
People took a screenshot of it and zoomed in and put a circle around where your parts poke out.
The areola, right?
Yeah,
is that correct terminology?
There were too many dots, if that makes sense.
Listen, there was full indication that there was a barbell there.
Yeah,
he's still working out, even during the game. Apparently,
you got to stay. You got to stay lifting.
And like I said, guys, you just win, baby. Give me the old Al Davis mantra. Just win, baby. I don't care.
Andy looks like a tomato right now. He's laughing so hard.
Just win, and you can pierce whatever you want. Apparently, if you're Ryan Day, we're not going to go any deeper than that. But yeah, man, what a great slate of college football. Just to get things started with that, going back to this weekend, of course, Jacob, your Georgia Bulldogs made easy work of Marshall, 45-7 there at home. Did you enjoy watching Bulldog football again?
Yeah, I did. I knew the offense was going to be really vanilla. It was basically line up, power right, power left, be more physical than them. But it's awesome watching the fact that we have a quarterback that has the option to run. He showed his legs, had 2 rushing touchdowns. Zachariah Branch was the highest graded wide receiver this last week. I think it was like 91.6. He had a great day. But everybody talked about the offense. You know this about me, Jim. I'm a huge defensive guy. Like I love watching physical defenses, and I know it's against Marshall, but boy, did the tape when it was talking about the Dogs and their defense. Physical, fast, flying around the football, moving people at will, their assignments. Everybody just seemed like they were on the same page. And something that I also love about Georgia is they don't really care about the shutout. They're going to get guys in there.
Yep.
So that, Kirby was asked about that in his presser. He was
long term is what that is.
He said, I would rather give up a touchdown against Marshall than give up a touchdown next year against an SEC opponent. Like, the experience matters more. And so lots of young cats played in the second half of that game. I loved watching it.
Young dogs, if you will.
Yeah, young dogs played in that game. But overall, very, very pleased. I don't really know. I know what Gunner's arm has the capability of, but we're not going to see that until week 3 against Tennessee.
Yeah.
We're going to see another vanilla approach against Austin Peay next week.
And, of course, you can listen to all Georgia Bulldog football games right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
Oh, by the way, Austin Peay, they beat the you-know-what out of Middle Tennessee.
Yeah,
they sure did.
So, I'm just saying, they're probably a little bit better than we thought, or maybe Middle Tennessee's that much worse than we thought.
I think it's probably a little bit of both, to be honest with you. Roman Yulo, local product here, committed to Austin Peay, as a matter of fact.
And they dominated. And listen, they dominated Middle Tennessee. That game was not close.
Yeah, you talking about if we can move on to the next one, another dominating performance. Are we going to talk Tennessee football?
Yeah,
my.
we're going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to get to Tennessee football. Definitely have a lot to unwrap with that one, as Joey Aguilar and company looked like a team that's going to be a team to be reckoned with throughout the SEC this year. They played really good football for it to be week one. We can touch on it a little bit.
Yeah, I was very impressed. I wondered how many Tennessee fans stayed up till 11 o'clock like I did to watch the Nico performance. But
I watched it.
It's just got to make you feel good.
It does. I mean, like we've been saying it on the show for months now. Like, hold on. Like, if what I'm watching on tape shows me anything, like there's a good chance you might have gotten an upgrade in this situation for paying a lot less.
Now, I will say this. Utah's a good team, okay? They're better than Syracuse.
They are.
There's no question about that. And, I mean, Utah was a team that I thought, let's see what the Utah looks like, because last year was an anomaly. They didn't have a good year, but they had quarterback issues all season long. I think Utah's a really good team, but they really dominated UCLA in that game from start to finish.
Well, the things that I watch, though, that I'm paying attention to is like I think every Tennessee fan probably jumped off the couch for the first time since Hendon Hooker was the quarterback at the University of Tennessee, hitting a guy in stride.
Right.
Nico struggled still.
Yeah, he overthrew several receivers.
He overthrew,
against,
and he didn't look on the plays that he should have made. He didn't. And
Right.
you had a guy that traveled down to Atlanta last week that made a lot of high-level throws.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, Aguilar looked much better than Nico, for sure. There's no question. But I think the competition that UCLA went up against was significantly better than the defense that Tennessee went up against. Listen, you can't make these judgments off of 1 week. My gosh.
I agree.
People are going nuts over 1 weekend of football. The overreaction.
We've been waiting,
the
Jim.
overreaction and knee-jerk reaction that I've seen is through the roof. I mean, people are wanting to fire DeBoer at Alabama.
But-
They are wanting to fire the guy.
But is that an overreaction?
And we're going to get to that. That's coming up for sure.
But listen, and we're going to see it next Sunday after the Sunday of NFL games. People are going to overreact again. It happens every year. I just sit there and I laugh. And people are questioning. I mean, Arch Manning, you can't the overreaction about that guy is through the roof.
Hold on, I got to get this out there. We were talking UCLA, and Nico and that UCLA Bruin team put up a whopping 10 points against Utah. The final score, Utah 43, UCLA 10. So he left because Tennessee wasn't putting enough weapons around him. They weren't paying him enough money, and here he is at UCLA with less weapons and less money and California taxes. I hope it works out for him. I really do.
That's going to go down as the worst NIL decision probably of our era. And really, like, if there ever is, like, college studies or if there's ever, like, times where teams sit down to talk to their players, they're going to reference that move. They are. They're going to think about that move. And if the season plays out how we think it is, people are going to say, listen, boys, the grass is not always greener. Like, you need to really consider what decision you're about to make.
I guess my thing is I'm going to wait until 6-8 weeks, and then I'll be able to decide.
Good job skipping the 7 there, Jim.
Because you just don't know after 1 week. We just don't. I mean, it's like, Carson Beck. Oh, yeah, Carson Beck made the right choice going from Georgia to Miami. He played one game. Let's watch Miami and let's watch Georgia up and through mid-October. Then you can make an evaluation. I'm sorry, I just don't judge after 1 week. I
Here's
just
the thing.
won't.
To touch on the Carson Beck thing, then we can move on. I think that was a good move for both parties. Like, really, you look at Carson Beck, first year as a starter. He's got Ladd McConkey, who goes on to be a 1,000-yard receiver in the NFL. He's got Brock Bowers that goes on to be a 1,000-yard receiver in the NFL. And he had great success with them. Last year, Georgia had more drops than anybody in the country.
Along with a phenomenal rushing attack that Georgia had during his time.
And so when Carson Beck Carson Beck has never not been a good quarterback. I don't really know where that narrative has come from. He's one of the most talented arms probably in college football. Just last year, he had a horrific receiving corps. Georgia went out, and they spent a lot of money. They got Noah Thomas. They went and got Zachariah Branch. They spent money. They recruited well at that position, and now they've overloaded. I think it was a marriage that separated on good terms for both sides. I think Carson Beck's probably going to go down to the ACC and light it up. I think he played really, really well against the Irish. And me and Andy had a conversation this weekend, and which college pick 'em, bless it. We'll pull that up in a little bit. It was a rough weekend. I think all three of us went 6-4.
I went
Yes,
6. Yeah,
we did.
But I picked Miami because of the quarterback play. And I said I would rather down the stretch have a guy who's been in that scenario, and it came down to Carson Beck leading them down to get 3 and win the game.
So I don't want to hide from this. I want to go ahead and get it out there. That final score, Notre Dame lost at Miami 27-24. And my take as an Irish fan is C.J. Carr is going to be good.
Oh, there's no question.
I think he learned a lot about who he is as a quarterback in that game one. And listen, it's a stretch to say, oh, they're going to make the playoff. They're going to go on a playoff run. I'm not saying that. I'm not there yet. I've got to see continuous progression from him at the quarterback position. And honestly, that O-line that was supposed to be the number one O-line in the country had a few struggles. They missed some assignments. They did some things wrong. They've got to clean some things up for Jeremiah Love to be the best running back in the country, which I truly believe he is. But with all that being said, I'm not hitting the panic button after that 27-24 loss, because I feel like as a Notre Dame fan, very easily that's kind of a good loss to have on the schedule, on the road, in the rain, against a Carson Beck-led Miami team that I tell you what, little number 10 freshman wide receiver that he's got, those two are going to have a heck of a season together.
You know, I thought that Miami may have had a great game plan. They stacked the box. They were going to force Notre Dame to pass the ball with a freshman making his first start.
That's smart.
In the rain. And it was smart. And doggone it, you know, I mean, give Notre Dame credit, man. When it was 21-7, I thought, oh boy, you know, it's not looking good. And they tied the darn thing up at what, 24-24, and then Miami was able to take it down, kick the field goal with just over a minute to go. It was a gut-wrenching loss for you, but you had to feel good the way that the Irish played there in the fourth quarter, especially.
You just missed a really good opportunity to say "dadgummit" instead of "doggone it," but I'll let it slide.
Yeah, but I mean, gosh, I've lost my train of thought now. No, but I was very impressed. I was impressed with both teams. I was impressed with a lot of these teams. Listen, I thought Texas's defense was lights out. They absolutely just hammered Ohio State's offensive line for the most part. Ohio State made a couple decent plays there. They were able to score 14. You score 14 points, normally you're going to lose. They were able to, and Ohio State's defense made how many times has Ohio State stuffed people at the on fourth down over the last couple of years, and they did it again to Texas. Texas is a really good team, and those two defenses. Listen, a lot of people hated that game because it was very, very.
It had an old school feel to it.
I'm telling you, there was a lot of guys sitting in whirlpools the next day because that was a very physical football game.
A lot of coaches walking around with nipple piercing.
Just let that sink in for a second. But to me, everybody gave Arch such a hard time.
It was unreal what I saw.
And, I mean, I sent you a bunch of stuff over the weekend. You know, just X is like my favorite place on game day. Like, especially when my team's not playing, I'm scrolling.
The content's undefeated.
It really is.
Gosh.
But like, is anybody talking about the fact that Steve Sarkisian's like play calling inside the 5-yard line is horrific? Like, that's the difference in that ball game. You want to talk about they go down there twice and get stuffed inside the 5. Mm-hmm. His red zone offense, you look back to on their championship run last year, it's the same thing. Yep. When they get inside the 5-yard line, it's like his offensive brain shuts down. Did Arch look great? No. He was on the road in his first true start against the defending national champions. I think he can buy a little.
And their defense is lights out defense.
Yes, in my opinion, like everybody talks about Jeremiah Smith, he's not even the best player on that team. Caleb Downs
yeah.
is the best player on Ohio State's team. So And he's in the secondary, who can obviously affect where Arch is going with the ball. Did Arch make some bad throws? Sure. His first one was literally right at somebody's feet.
Yeah, the very first throw of the game. Yeah.
The one that he kind of sidearms, people are giving him a hard time. Sure, whatever. But
The Uncle Rico comparisons are great on that one.
they were hilarious. But
Lord.
you to me, like, that falls back on the coach. Like, there were plenty of opportunities for them to get points on the board, and that game looks a little bit different going down to the end of the game.
I want to say this too. Lee Corso, which we all are aware, that was his final College game day, final headgear pick. Do you guys realize he got every single one of his picks right?
He called the Florida State Alabama
did.
game. He did.
So let's go ahead and go into that one because, first of all, what is going on with Alabama? And the final there from that game, FSU 31, Alabama 17, down there in Tallahassee. And Doak Campbell Stadium was absolutely rocking.
It was an electric atmosphere down there. And, when Alabama drove it down early and took that lead, I was like, well, here we go. Alabama is a much better team than Florida State. From that moment on, Florida State was 2-10 last year. We all know that the talent is better than 2-10, but it was. The record was what it was. But, man, the difference between what I saw on Florida State's team last year and this year looked like night and day. And Castellanos, say what you want, he backed up what he was saying in the summer.
Well, Gus Malzahn is an Alabama killer.
Yes.
Like
4-4 the last 8 games against Alabama when he's coached.
And think about that. Like, not very many people can tout around and say.
But I want to say this, though. This isn't the same Alabama. I'm sorry, Alabama fans. There's something going on in Tuscaloosa, and it's not good. Again, this was an unranked. Now, this is part of the preseason ranking process. Florida State's going to be ranked. They're as the season goes on, I know the coaches' rankings came out today along with the AP.
Yeah, Florida State is number 14.
So they jumped from being unranked to 14.
Where did Bama fall to?
21.
And they should. Because they looked abysmal. Their defense did not have that killer instinct. You talk about having a killer instinct. The way Florida State played kind of took me back. I made a comment last week like, dude, the bowl wearers aren't showing up to play for you, Florida State. Time out. Maybe they've been watching some film of those guys, and like Florida State, that bad dude mentality is absolutely back. And that's something that was kind of synonymous with Florida State football throughout the Bobby Bowden era, is just how aggressive they would play on defense, and that looked like old Florida State.
Yeah, I was just very impressed with Norvell. Had a great game plan. The crowd there was so into it. Listen, people say this all the time. Well, so college football is better when so-and-so is better. Good. Doggone it, when Florida State's good, I love the energy, the chopping and everything going on there at Doak Campbell. It was an electric atmosphere. To me, that was the game of the weekend.
And you talk about a guy.
And I'd include the Miami Notre Dame game. That Florida State Alabama game was the game of the weekend.
You talk about a guy who's going to light up the ACC this year. Jacob, you mentioned Carson Beck at Miami. Castellanos at Florida State, put him right in that same category. And talk about a matchup down the road between those two. That game is going to have a 90s Miami, late 80s, early 90s Miami Florida State feel to it without a doubt.
And that LSU Clemson game right there again, another great football game. This first weekend, and usually we see nothing but cupcakes. Okay, there were some really good matchups.
So
over
many.
The weekend. Oh, yeah. I loved it.
So I'm glad we gave Florida State their flowers, because they, like, at the end of the day, like, they went out there and they whipped Alabama's butt. Like, you throw out Steve's favorite term, Alabama got skull drug. After that first drive. They just got whipped up and down the field. I know you've posted some stats on the Blitz. Go ahead and throw that out there.
Plug the Blitz for us real quick, Jim.
Well, the Blitz is a college football newsletter that I've been doing. This is my 15th year doing it. And by the way, we have a WCLE themed Blitz that we put out every week, and we give it to all of our paying customers. So it's a little bit of a hey, thanks for doing business with us. It's a token of our appreciation, but it's something I've been doing for years. And I do a lot of research. I do a ton of research about college football, and we put this out. It's everything at your fingertips. A lot of this stuff is available on the internet, but it's not at your fingertips where you can just thumb through everything. Every schedule is right there. So it's something I've been doing for a long time. So, yeah, I appreciate the plug, though.
Well, yeah, it's really cool, and it's something that Jacob and I enjoy glancing at. And I read some of the tidbits that you had in there today, specifically about Alabama
in Florida State.
Florida State, yep.
It was really good stuff.
Yeah, so some of them. Alabama's 5-5, right? Did you have that in there?
I had a bunch.
5-5 in their last 10 games.
Yeah.
They have 4 losses to unranked opponents in DeBoer's first 14 games. It took Nick Saban 235 games before he lost to 4 ranked opponents. They got
unranked opponents.
Yes.
Yeah.
They got outrushed 230 to 87. 55 of those yards were on the first drive.
That was incredible. 4
drives finished in the FSU territory, resulting in 0 points. After their first score, they allowed 24 unanswered. They went 8 for 22 on 3rd and 4th down. And the biggest one, so this is one that I told Jim that shocked me. Alabama has not played a game under DeBoer that they didn't have more penalties than the other team.
That's concerning. That's very concerning.
From what I watched on Saturday, the talent's there. Because they've gone out and got guys that everybody else is trying to recruit.
It's still a deep roster, not just the starter talent, but on the bench. They've got 5 stars, so they've got 4 stars.
But the difference is the mentality, and I'm going to steal this from a podcast that I was listening to, kind of thumbing through. The mentality, like Alabama has always been alphas. They looked like a bunch of betas out there. They looked like a bunch of guys that there was the effort wasn't there. If you go back and watch some of the plays, you've got guys just kind of jogging around, doing their thing. Like, you were on the road at Florida State. You were Alabama. Everybody is gunning to give you
no bad intentions. When what I was kind of relaying about Florida State's defense, they looked like they were playing violently with bad intentions.
You know, you're talking about, and listen, we all know that recruiting is not an exact science, but it's pretty darn accurate, okay? Florida State had 1 consensus 5-star recruit on their roster. Alabama has 14, the most of any team in the country.
Yeah.
You know what that tells me? The Noles are hungry, baby.
Well, I mean,
the Noles are hungry.
But not only, like, something that, like, shocked me. Florida State got consistent pressure against what is supposed to be a top 5 offensive line this year, sending 4. And they looked confused all night long off of stunts, which, again, good teams make adjustments. They looked like they were deer in headlights.
Yeah, hey, real quick before we take our first commercial break, I want to let you guys know about our Tennessee Valley Federal Credit Union Tennessee Ticket Tuesday. This is something we've been doing here at our family of stations for 15 years, the TVFCU Tennessee Ticket Tuesday. Your chance to win Tennessee tickets versus ETSU this Saturday. The winner will be announced tomorrow. Also, our friends at Hardees are throwing in a Tennessee T-shirt and free Hardees combo, so you cannot beat that. Be able to get your tickets to the game, pick up some Hardees on the way up in your new Tennessee gear, and go watch the game. All you've got to do is call in or text in the Volunteer Ridipest phone line at 423-749-1013. Once again, that's 423-749-1013. And if you text, all you've got to do is put your name, Vols, and TVFCU.
Absolutely, man. Hardee's is a big supporter of a lot of things around here. So, yeah, get that done, man, right now.
Yeah, with that, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of high school football from this past week. And, of course, we're going to have Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins on at 5:40 today. And we're going to definitely continue our conversation around college football. Got to talk about that Big Orange win over the Orange down in Atlanta. We'll be right back here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Omaha, set, hut. This is John Davis, the trade-in man for Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway, announcing our year-end sales blitz. My team will do whatever it takes to win your business. Red zone prices and payments on every vehicle in our giant inventory. We're going to tackle every trade-in, even if you have months left or still owe thousands, and we're going to crush bad credit. Our lenders will say yes to you and yes to your situation, plus beat any deal from anywhere in Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama. The only deal that I can't beat is the one that I don't know know about. Don't miss this year-end sales blitz. Make the winning drive and score the best deal of the year. Come see me, John Davis, at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where trading your car is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Looking for the dealer who's gonna give you more. Kia of Cleveland Superstore.
Negative trade equity may be refinanced subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
KiaofCleveland.com.
Hardees is hiring. Join the star team. Flexible scheduling, daily pay, free meals, 20% family discount, plus paid vacation for part-time and full-time employees. Apply in-store or online at hardees.com today.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell.
Need a new shop, garage, or other unique space? Explore post-frame building kits from Best Buy Metals. Best Buy Metals kits utilize steel trusses for the ultimate in strength and durability. When you need it to last, call Best Buy Metals. Stop by or visit bestbuymetalroof.com for your custom structure.
This is Thomas Williams with Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. Stop by today and take advantage of Bradley County's largest pre-owned inventory, or visit cleveland-nissan.com, home of the lifetime warranty.
Check your wallet. Empty? Check your bills. Overdue? Check your stress level. Maxed? Now, Check Into Cash. Check Into Cash is your one-stop money shop, and we've got everything you need. Payday loans and flex lines of credit options? Check. Quick in-store services like money orders and wire transfers? Check. Turn your unused gift cards into cash? Oh yeah, check. And yes, we cash checks. All kinds. Fast. Check that off your list. Visit checkintocash.com or check into a store to get started. The process is simple, quick, and designed to get you the help you need fast. If you've been approved, you can leave with cash in hand. We have locations in the Chattanooga area, including Cleveland and Athens. Check in, cash out, and get on with life. Check Into Cash. We fund today to make a better tomorrow. Subject to state regulations, eligibility, credit check, underwriting, and approval. Rates, restrictions, and fees apply. Visit a store for details. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 an hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, and vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. And we're going to do the Inside the SEC, sponsored by Southern Heritage Bank. And we're going to focus on the Associated Press poll that came out earlier this afternoon. The Southeastern Conference has 10 schools ranked. LSU is the highest ranked SEC team at number 3. Georgia sitting there at number 4. Texas drops from number 1 to number 7. South Carolina, who looked really good over the weekend, they're sitting there at number 10. And then you have 5 SEC teams, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. That would be Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama down to number 21, and Tennessee up from number 24 to number 22. So the SEC, 10 schools ranked this week. And also receiving votes, Auburn is sitting there with 94 votes. They would be 27 if you wanted to count it like that. And then you got Missouri also there in the also receiving votes with 42 points. So the SEC very, very well represented. The schools that are the 5 consecutive schools ties it a record in the AP poll at 5 consecutive schools ranked, like I said, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So the SEC, once again, showing flexing their muscles, if you will, in the Associated Press rankings. So that is Inside the SEC, sponsored by Southern Heritage Bank.
Once again, we want to go ahead and give that ticket giveaway for the Tennessee ETSU football game this Saturday. It's the TVFCU Tennessee Ticket Tuesday right here on the Drive. Your chance to win tickets to Tennessee versus ETSU this Saturday. The winner will be announced tomorrow. And also to go along with it, our friends at Hardees, big-time sponsor here of the Drive, our premier sponsor, Hardees, they're throwing in a Tennessee T-shirt and a free Hardees combo. All you've got to do is call in or text in to the Volunteer Rid-A-Pest phone line at 423-749-1013, 423-749-1013. And if you text in, be sure to include your name and then TVFCU tickets.
Yeah, I tell you what, are you guys pumped for the NFL kicking off this week too? I am personally.
And on that note, tomorrow we're going to have a little Atlanta Falcons coverage with our guy Bo Morgan. He's going to be calling into the show talking Atlanta Falcons as we approach the NFL kickoff. But to answer your question, I am excited about it, and I think, as a Falcons fan, I think it's going to be a good year for Atlanta. One of my former favorite college players just earned a starting safety job, Xavier Watts, for the Falcons.
Yeah, good stuff.
I'm excited. Fantasy drafts are always, my favorite probably time of year. And
how many are you in? Just one?
I've done 2 drafts so far.
2.
I've got 1, maybe 2, potentially. So I could be in from 3 to 4 leagues. And I'll be honest, I tell myself every year I'm not going to do this to myself, but I end up doing it. And then, I'm rooting for, a guy that's on one team, but then somebody's hurting me on the other. So, I've tried to limit how many I'm in just because of that, because you're mad either way.
Is the running back still the number 1 position in fantasy
Most
football?
leagues.
In my draft last night, Jamar Chase went off the board first, but then after that, it was running back. And
if it's a PPR, which is points per reception league, then receivers and tight ends get a lot of love too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went RB hero, but I went double RB hero. So I drafted 2 running backs in my first 2 rounds, and then scooped up the number 2 tight end in round 3. And as of right now, in that draft, I'm projected to finish first. So.
What about? Of course you are. What about you, Andy? Do you play?
So I used to be pretty big into it. It's when I do something, I'm all in. It's too time consuming for me. I would rather prep and get the stats and keep up with everything than manage a fake team. It's fun. I enjoy it. If I had more time, I would definitely do it. But
I enjoy picking the games like we're doing.
Exactly.
More so than a fantasy football.
Our pick 'em is so much more fun, in my opinion, just because you can get on at the beginning of the week, log your picks, and then throughout the week, if you kind of change your mind, you can get back on and change them. But at least you get them set on Monday, so you're good to go for the upcoming weekend.
I'm so notorious about in these pick'ems of trying to predict upsets, and it comes back to haunt me. And I'm like, I should have just gone with the favorites, and I'd have been better off. But I do this constantly. I did it again this week. I picked several upsets in the one that we're in right now. So I don't know. To me, I just like to try to see if I'm smarter than everyone else, and I end up looking like an idiot.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there. Hey, real quick, I do want to get to some high school football coverage. Of course, we're going to have Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins on around the 5:40 mark in today's show. But all high school football content here on ESPN Cleveland is presented by Food City. Shout out Food City for taking care of all 3 of our local high school teams. And to go back to week 2, just to recap, Bradley Central defeated Walker Valley 28-14 in a game that wasn't so fun in the first half. That in the second half, Walker Valley kind of clawed their way back a little bit and made things a little interesting. But for the most part, the Bears controlled it the entire time.
Yeah, and that Bradley Walker. Listen, we thought that Bradley and Walker Valley was going to be a very, very closely contested game because we thought Bradley. Yeah, they got beat by McMinn that first game. But we thought, we could see the talent there. So it wasn't surprising they won the game. I did think it would be a little closer than it was, to be honest with you. But both teams are going to have successful seasons. I'm very convinced of that.
And, of course, we're going to break that down a little bit more with Coach Drew Akins here around 5:40, and then with Coach Floyd again this Thursday. Cleveland fell to McMinn 40-29, but man, I tell you what, the Blue Raiders went up to Athens and put a scare in the Cherokees.
Yeah, they were leading most of that game.
They were.
And really, even with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure it was a 26-21 contest. It was just one of those where, McMinn started leaning, the doors just kind of got kicked open.
And this is a very, very young Cleveland team, so all you Blue Raider fans, there's a lot to be optimistic about with that performance last week. This week, Bradley Central, first region game of the season, taking on Hardin Valley at Bear Stadium Friday night at 7 p.m. Cleveland is on the road at Tullahoma. Tullahoma, a team a couple of years removed out of winning a state championship in 4A, so another tough contest for the Blue Raiders there in Middle Tennessee. That game will be at 8 p.m. our time, Eastern Standard Time, that is. And then Walker Valley versus McMinn, another region opener here locally. That one, Region 5A, and that will be up at Walker Valley High School. So a lot going on with high school football coverage here on the Drive, and we've got you covered from all three of our family of stations with high school football coverage when it comes to Friday night. You can catch it, and along with that, mixtv.tv with Steve and Steven. Those guys do a great job, and we have a lot of fun with our high school football coverage. Real quick, before we transition over to Tennessee football, we got to cram a couple things in here before we get to Coach Drew Akins. But obviously, there's been a lot of focus over the offseason about North Carolina. Bill Belichick taking that job as the Tar Heel head coach. And just watching that game, looking at Bill, and he's not a very animated guy anyway. Again, TCU absolutely put it on the Tar Heels 48-14. But looking at Bill Belichick on the sideline, he just looked like his head was somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think TCU's a pretty good team.
Is he a little distracted, though? I'm just saying.
I don't know. I just think, listen, I think TCU's just a much better team. I know there's a lot of other stuff that's going around there, and these guys are over here snickering like teenage little girls, man. I'm telling you.
Tom Brady's not showing up. I'm sorry. Tom Brady's not. He has no eligibility left.
I mean, North Carolina, what was it? 70 guys that are on the roster that weren't there last year.
Yeah.
That's just, you're asking too much. Of rebuilding a roster to that extent. Nobody knew. Listen, that first drive, I think, surprised everybody and got a lot of people excited. I mean, but man, TCU just dominated that game from basically the second drive of the game on.
I told Andy, to me, your first drive is scripted.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be your really, and quite honestly, it's supposed to be your most successful drive. You looked at it happened in the Alabama game. What happened after that?
Exactly.
You look at it in the UNC game. They scored. What happened after that? So to me, like after those first 10 plays, like it kind of told me like, hey, pump the brakes. Let's let these games develop a little bit more, because in all reality, those first 10 plays are supposed to be your most successful ones in the game.
And the TCU players felt slighted because it was all about North Carolina. It was all about Belichick. Nobody's talking about TCU. And, man, they rubbed them the wrong way.
That's a good football program down there.
It is.
So, hey, let's go ahead and transition back to Tennessee Vol football. I know a lot of our Vol fans have been waiting to hear a little bit of our perspective on that game. Tennessee, absolutely just a phenomenal complete game against a good Syracuse team. This is no slouch of a Syracuse team. Tennessee winning that game 45-26. Some news coming out of that game, though. Vols defensive back Ricky Gibson with a left arm injury Saturday will be out for a significant amount of time. It sounds like a few weeks. With he and Jermod McCoy being out, you can expect Boo Carter to be plugged in and get a lot of playing time. And on top of that, the offseason addition of Colton Hood, who transferred in from Colorado, looks brilliant and added the depth that they need in this situation.
Oh, listen, I think this is an opportunity for Boo Carter to, I guess, reestablish himself again with the Tennessee fan base. It's an opportunity for him to maybe make people go, okay, Boo, we forgive you now. So I think it's just a real good opportunity for him. I hope he makes the best of it.
Yeah, I think Tennessee looked a little bit more balanced in a sense. Like, I don't think their defense is as lights out as it was last year.
No, it's
but
not.
I think their offense is a whole lot better. What I saw there, and there's not going to be a whole. I think there's going to be some drop off. You had one of the best running backs in the country last year. Broke a lot of school records
for sure.
Well, Star Thomas had 92 yards rushing. Deshaun Bishop 82 yards and a touchdown, and Peyton Lewis 38 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, you've got thunder and lightning there. You know, a lot of Tennessee fans probably don't love Deshaun Bishop's quickness. They don't feel like he's as fast, but boy, the first person who touches him, he doesn't get tackled by him. I'll tell you that much. He runs through contact well. He does a good job of really fighting through the hole. And then you've got another one that comes in behind him who's an absolute speedster. So I think they've got a real thunder and lightning. They're truly 3 deep at the running back position.
Are.
The quarterback play, I thought, was great.
Joey Aguilar, 16 of 28 passing for 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. And this is the big one. He was kind of criticized. 0 interceptions for Joey Aguilar.
Well, the key coming up this weekend when they're playing East Tennessee State is to get out of that game with no injuries, because they got Georgia coming up behind that, okay, on the road, a hostile environment. By the way, were y'all surprised?
Tennessee's at home in that game. I was at the Georgia game.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Were y'all surprised at the lack of fan support in Atlanta? There was a lot of empty seats there in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I really thought it was going to be a sellout. What was it, 45,000 or something like that? I was expecting a packed house.
Well,
we all know it was all Tennessee fans. There was literally no serious.
Having went there myself last year for Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, it was very similar. I don't know if it's just it being in downtown Atlanta or
we got to get rid of these regular season neutral site games. I'm sorry, that Syracuse Tennessee game should have been played.
Only thing I'll say about it, it's good exposure for recruiting. And when you talk about Tennessee recruiting in the state of Georgia, it's good to go in a guy's backyard and be playing right there.
I think you'd rather host them on your own turf.
I agree. I just. That game should have been played at Neyland Stadium. Period. In the story. There were 102,000 people there. I'm
on the fence about traditional games like the Red River and the outdoor cocktail party, but the home openers, I just kind of wish we could get rid of.
Same here, man.
It would just be at home.
Yeah, real quick, going over to our Atlanta Braves coverage, sponsored by Mayfield Dairy. Braves big news: claims shortstop Ha-Seong Kim off of waivers from the Tampa Bay Rays. He joins the team today. And he's currently in his first year of a 2-year deal. He's got a $16 million player option for 2026. And the good thing is he's going to give Atlanta about a month to check him out for the potential to be a part of the 2026 team. So that's big news out of Atlanta. And also Ian Anderson will pitch tonight for AA Columbus. So starting to see some of these arms come back around for the Braves. And obviously in a season that's pretty much lost at this point, you're gearing up for 2026.
32 one-run losses for the Braves, the most in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, over the weekend, the Braves dropped 3 of 4 to the Phillies, salvaged the series in Game 4 Sunday on the legs of another great start by Hurston Waldrop. He went 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run. And Drake Baldwin's offense in the 9th inning, that 2-run homer, won the game for the Braves. And Tyler Kinley got the W. Iglesias got his 23rd save. Yesterday, in Game 1, Atlanta fell to the Cubs in extra innings in the 10th, 7-6. But the good news there is Spencer Strider made another solid start. That's 2 in a row. He went 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. That strikeout number is not very high for Spencer Strider, but he's learning to pitch as he's trying to regain that velocity. So that's a good sign for sure. Pierce Johnson blew the save in that game in the 10th inning, but multi-hit games for Baldwin, Albies Harris, and Nacho Alvarez. Tonight, the Braves are in Chicago for Game 2 of the series at Wrigley, and on the bump is Joey Wentz taking on Shatoa Amanga.
I believe you were...
Amanaga. Shatoa Amanaga. First pitch is at 7:40 on Mix 104.1 pre- and post game right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Now at Hardees, 2 hand-breaded chicken tender wraps are only $5. Mix and match your favorite flavors like buttermilk ranch, honey mustard, and spicy. Endless combinations start with 2 warm tortillas, each filled with 100% white meat, juicy on the inside, crispy on the outside, hand-breaded chicken tenders. Any 2 wraps, now just $5. Hardees, goodness in the making. These items only. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included. Visit restaurant for details.
When competition is fierce, sports injuries happen, and Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Saturday sports clinics are available at our Chattanooga and Cleveland offices from August 23rd through November 8th for the treatment of non-emergency orthopedic injuries like sprains, strains, and fractures. Doors open at 9 a.m., no appointment needed to be seen by our highly trained physicians and clinical staff. Saturday sports clinic dates are subject to change. Check sportmed.com for the latest information. That's sportmed.com.
Don't miss the Paul Feinbaum Show, weekday afternoons from 2 until 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Always topical, always entertaining. Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. For the past quarter century, Mix 104.1 has been your home for UT Vols football. That's something to celebrate. Vol 25 is here. ESPN Cleveland 101.3 and USS are giving you a chance to win tickets to all of the Tennessee road games this season. Each Monday before a road game, you can register to win tickets to that Saturday's Vols game. Vol 25 is brought to you by USS. Visit USSTN.com/Chattanooga. For more information, check out our ESPN Cleveland 101.3 socials on Facebook and Instagram.
Not all composite decking is the same. Enjoy life's beautiful moments on an equally beautiful composite deck. Envision's products feature deep, non-repeating grains and distinct colors throughout each pour, offering a truly unique appearance unlike anything else on the market. Learn more and find inspiration for your project at Cleveland Plywood. Cleveland Plywood Company, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland. Cleveland Tire Center for over 45 years with the best name in tires: Bridgestone, Firestone, Goodyear, and Michelin. Northley Highway, Cleveland. Cleveland Tire Center, where the name says it all.
You bleed orange. You never miss a Vols game. But when's the last time you showed that same pride in your smile? At Magnolia Dental Center of Cleveland, we treat every patient like it's 4th and goal. Fast, tough, and no-nonsense care, just like the way Tennessee plays. Cleanings, repairs, full-on restorations. We'll get you back in the game. Magnolia Dental Center, proudly serving Vol Nation, one winning smile at a time. Call 423-476-3307 or visit MagnoliaDentalCenterofCleveland.com to schedule an appointment today. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Turn your freezer into your own personal ice cream shop with Mayfield Dairy's latest product, the Sunday Delights Ice Cream Cups. Now available in 5 flavors: peanut butter candy pieces, cookies and cream, original chocolate fudge, original caramel, and original fudge. Learn more at MayfieldDairy.com. With that, continuing our high school football coverage presented by Food City, we've got Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins here on The Drive. Coach, glad to have you with us.
Hey, man, what's going on? Long time no talk to.
I was about to say, feels like I just saw you.
Yeah, man, it's a good day. I always love Tuesdays. I get my whole spiel of Andy.
Of course, all our listeners, we film Coach Akins' Coach's Show on Tuesdays. You can check that. You'll be able to hear it pregame on Cleveland's Oldies 99 live, as well as pull it up on YouTube on the Walker Valley Athletics page and on the Mix 104.1 page as well. Coach, obviously tough result last Friday night against crosstown rival Bradley, 28-14 loss, but one thing that we saw was a different Mustang team show up in the second half.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, I was really proud of how our guys continued to fight and stick together. We actually had, there in the middle of the third quarter, felt like we had some even some momentum there, where we could have gotten back in the game if we made a couple more plays down the stretch. But just the fact that, we were down 28-0 and could have easily folded up the tents and said, hey, it's just not our night. Our guys kept fighting, and we put ourselves in a situation where, we get an onside kick and score, and maybe it gets uncomfortable. But, ultimately it wasn't about the wins and the losses at that point. It was about how we played and how we stuck together. and I feel like our guys did that all the way till the end.
Who was the one player that you felt stood out that maybe we didn't recognize on Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think late you saw an emergence of Sawyer Boyd. At the very end, we spent way too much time not getting him the ball. And then in the fourth, he had 5 catches for 120 yards, I think is what it was. And, we looked silly for not getting the ball to him earlier. He's so dynamic with the ball in his hands. So we got to find easier ways to get him the football, and we got to trust, the ways that we had. We waited way too long. We had some specialty plays to get Sawyer the ball, and we waited too long to do those things. So, as coaches, we've got to do a better job of finding him, anywhere from 12 to 15 touches per game where we can get the ball in his hands and let his explosive speed show.
Coach, what's the message been to the team this week? Kind of turning the page. You've got a big opponent coming in on Friday night.
Yeah, I haven't had to do much on my end to convince our guys that we got to turn the page. They were already kind of turning the page on Friday night. A lot of times these kids are way more resilient than we are as coaches. We kind of lean on, if I would have done this differently or if I would have done that differently. I do that over the weekend. Our kids on Friday night were like, "Hey, Coach, we're ready. We did a great job sticking together. We trust you, and we're ready to turn the page into region play." They understand how big this game is. They understand the strength of the opponent that we have coming in with game one in our region. With McMinn, a team that is physical. Their front on both sides, their line of scrimmage is very physical and they're tough. We've got to be able to match that. But ultimately, our kids understand the magnitude of this game, and they understood the magnitude of Bradley and how big Bradley is in our community. But ultimately, this game determines our playoff fate. So they've done a great job turning the page. We had 2 good practices so far, and we're looking to have one more tomorrow.
Coach, I'm curious of your philosophy about this. A lot of teams, when they win the coin toss, they'll defer to the second half. What's your preference? Would you prefer to defer to the second half, or would you prefer having the ball to begin the game?
Yeah, most of the time, it's really weird in my career here. We have started on kickoff and on defense. I would venture to say 90% of the time during my tenure here. We typically defer. I like the opportunity for a two for one.
Mm-hmm.
So getting that one right before half, we've been really dynamic over our history of getting one right before halftime and then getting the ball right back and getting 2 possessions and stealing that second possession. So that's always been kind of my philosophy with that. I think in games where you're the underdog, sometimes it benefits you to take the football and try to throw the kitchen sink at them to go up and try to score early, so you're ahead and you're playing from in front. But again, you have that risk of the 2 for 1 on the other way around. But typically, if I feel like it needs to be a competitive game or a game that's going to go back and forth, I like starting on defense for the opportunity to get the end of the first half, start of the second half offensively.
All right, Coach, you asked for an off-the-wall question last week, so I've been prepping and doing my homework. Say you're coaching on the other side against the Georgia Bulldogs, and they run out in a 14 personnel. What are you doing to stop it?
14 personnel. First of all, you're on the wrong side of the ball. Like you're on the communist side of the ball, and I should have expected that from you. Against Georgia, you better just shoot gaps and hope you're able to create some penetration. When you're dealing with that much heavy of a set, penetration always kills that kind of set. That's honestly what Bradley did a great job against our load set, is they got great penetration, which makes it really difficult to be successful in the run game. But against Georgia, you're dealing with a different type of human being too. So I would not deal with that well. I'm more of the cover deep and let somebody else tackle them kind of guy. So that's my philosophy on defense.
Well, leave it to Jacob to bring up the Georgia Bulldogs during your segment. For those of our listeners, that's right. For those of our listeners that don't know, Coach Akins, a big-time Ole Miss Rebel fan. What did you think? Obviously, kind of hard to take away a lot from a 63-7 win over Georgia State. But how are you feeling about your Rebels?
I really liked some of the stuff I saw. Even reading some of the commentary. From post game, Austin Simmons I think is a special talent. Just his ability to place the football to his receivers. We got two really big body tight ends that showed out. I think my biggest concern that I saw offensively was our offensive line has a little ways to go. So we better figure some things out front if we want to be successful. But on the Georgia front with Ole Mason, last time Ole Miss lined up against Georgia, it was pretty successful for us. So if we keep getting better, we got a chance to beat anybody.
Hey, Coach, man, you need to go down to Athens this year. What do you say?
I would be all the way in, but I probably have a youth league game, man. I don't want to get barked at when I go down there. I try not to visit opposing places. Just for fear of safety in the SEC.
Not to mention, just had a baby, of course, and Jacob's trying to get you in the doghouse. Apparently, not being at home.
Absolutely.
Leave it to Mason.
He's trying to get me all kinds of trouble right now.
Mason couldn't even show up for the coaches show today.
It's selfish, is what it was.
Well, Coach, man, I tell you what, you got your hands full. This McMinn team is a very, very physical football team, man. I don't know what your game plan is, but I know this much: the size thing is going to be an issue the entire game.
Yeah, listen, they build their team around physicality. They build their team around the line of scrimmage. So we have to make sure that we're ready for the physicality of that game, and that's not an easy task. I do think that our guys in the second half, if you watch the Bradley game, that was their game plan was to line up and run it. And I got, in the second half, we did a good job of creating stops and, giving ourselves opportunity to get back in the ball game. So hopefully we felt a little of that this week. Or last week, and we're able to respond this week with physicality up front on both sides. Their defensive line, I know it's well chronicled, their offensive line with their physicality, but, their interior defensive line is a talented group, and I've really challenged our center guard this week, and hopefully I think that's the strength of our offensive line. I think, I really like those three guys, our center guard combination. So expect our guys to go fight and go do everything they can to protect Chase. That's one of our core values that we like to do is we talk about protection. We talk about being selfless up front. So that's the expectation for our guys, and I truly believe that we'll be ready to rise to that challenge.
Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins. Coach, we appreciate you joining the drive with us again today and look forward to Friday night.
All right, guys. I really appreciate you. I always enjoy the time. And I got my fill of Andy Morris, so I'll have to wait till next Tuesday to fill it up again.
I tried to let these guys do most of this interview just because of that, because I figured you were wore out with me today.
All good, man. I really appreciate you guys and thankful for what you do, as always.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Same to you.
See you. Again, Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins, always a fun interview. Likes to talk about his Rebels a little bit, but you can catch his Mustangs in action for their first region game of the year against McMinn at the MAC at Walker Valley High School Friday at 7 o'clock. And listen, got to do this one more time, too. Tennessee Valley Federal Credit Union Tennessee Ticket Tuesday. Yes, it is Tuesday. Labor Day kind of messed with everybody a little bit.
I know, it feels like a Monday, man.
Sure does. But it's your chance to win tickets to Tennessee versus ETSU this Saturday. We will announce the winner tomorrow. Also, to top that off, our friends at Hardees are throwing in a Tennessee T-shirt and free Hardees combo. So when you win your tickets, you can put on your new Tennessee T-shirt, get you some food at Hardees, and head up to the game in Knoxville for ETSU this Saturday. All you've got to do is hit us up on the Volunteer Ridipest phone and text line at 423-749-1013. That's 423-749-1013. Put your name and TVFCU.
Absolutely, man. Tell you what, we got some great games coming up this weekend, don't we? How about the Michigan-Oklahoma game? That's going to be a good one there.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
In Norman, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Looking forward to that.
Jacob, Bulldogs, what's your take? You feeling good?
Yeah, I like them. I mean, I think really you're going to get your first true test week 3 heading up to Knoxville.
And Notre Dame has an open date already, man.
Listen, I have to sit on that L for 2 weeks.
Yeesh.
That's tough.
And you got A&M against.
But I don't mind the preparation for A&M coming up to South Bend.
That's
so
right.
I'm okay with that. But I tell you what, Tennessee Volunteers looking good. Gonna get another dub this weekend against ETSU, I would say. Although, hey, shout out, it's Walker Valley Day. Cam Norwood, former Mustang, on the coaching staff up there at ETSU. So shout out to Cam Norwood. But hey, I believe it's time for us to get out of here.
Too short, man.
Listen, we need to stretch this out a little bit more. Hey, for Jacob, Jim, I'm Andy. Appreciate you guys joining the drive. We'll be back tomorrow here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Have a great day, everybody.
It's time for a Don Ledford of Cleveland traffic update on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Don Ledford Chevrolet Buick GMC, located on North Lee Highway in Cleveland. Or visit donledford.com for details. Don Ledford, where we say yes. It's on-time traffic with Commander Chuck.
Good afternoon. T-Dot still out here trying to untangle a couple of wrecks we had earlier. Here's what we're seeing: heavier traffic volume across the Chickamauga Dam, right on schedule back toward Hickson on 153 going northbound. It's crowded over here at Shallowford, right at the interstate. Stop and go East Brainerd at Graysville Road. We've had to deal with radar earlier on 75 in Catoosa County around Battlefield Parkway. Hey, Rick's Lock and Key, Chattanooga's leading locksmith. If you get locked down, don't panic. Call Rick's Lock and Key. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
From the Alon Planning Partners Weather Center, here's your forecast on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Visit them online at alonplanning.com or give them a call at 423-315-1441.
We may see a few sprinkles here and there as we head out tonight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. Overnight will drop down to 63 degrees starting your Wednesday. Wednesday, 83 for the high, but it's going to stay mostly cloudy, and a few spotty showers and storms will be possible. A few showers and storms possible on Thursday as well, with a high of 86 degrees. We're going to clear out with a high of 91 on Friday, and then a cool front brings in more showers for your Saturday, cooler on Sunday. Download the Local 3 weather app, free for iPhone and Android. I'm Chief Meteorologist David Carnes for the Local 3 Storm Alert Team.
Your current Milligan Vane temperature is 77 degrees. MilliganVane.com.
The difference between an average morning and a Hardee's morning is hearty goodness that lasts till lunchtime. Like Hardee's smoked sausage biscuit. Split Hillshire Farm smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. And our Frisco breakfast sandwich with cherrywood smoked bacon or ham on toasted sourdough. Hardee's, goodness in the making. Download the app and join my rewards for special offers. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
When competition is fierce, sports injuries happen, and Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Saturday sports clinics are available at our Chattanooga and Cleveland offices from August 23rd through November